Hello, my name is Gentry and I am the Director of Marketing here at the Mini Time Machine Museum of Miniatures, and today I'm going to share with you the book called Winter Days in the Big Woods. This book is an illustrated adaptation of The Little House in the Big Woods, which was written by Laura Ingalls Wilder, based on her real life growing up in the Midwestern part of the United States in the 1870s and 1880s. That was more than 140 years ago. And I'm going to read this story in front of the log cabin from our collection. Now, this log cabin you see behind me was created in 1/12 scale, which means that 1 inch in miniature equals 12 inches in real life. This miniature log cabin was created by Thomas and Catharine Latané, and it was inspired by the log cabin in the story. Let's begin. Winter Days in the Big Woods by Laura Ingalls Wilder, and the illustrations in this copy were done by Renée Graef, and they were inspired by the original artwork by Garth Williams. Once upon a time, a little girl named Laura lived in the big woods of Wisconsin in a little house made of logs. Laura lived in the little house with her pa, her ma, her big sister Mary, her baby sister Carrie, and their good old bulldog Jack. Winter was coming to the big woods. Soon the little house would be covered with snow. Pa went hunting every day so that they would have meat during the long, cold winter. Ma, Laura, and Mary gathered potatoes and carrots, beets and turnips, cabbages and onions, and peppers and pumpkins from the garden next to the little house. By the time winter came, the little house was full of good things to eat. Laura and Mary thought that the attic was a lovely place to play. They played house by using the orange round pumpkins as tables and chairs, and everything was snug and cozy. Soon the first snow came, and it was very cold. In the mornings, the windows were covered with beautiful pictures of trees and flowers and fairies. Ma said that Jack Frost had come in the night and made the pictures while everyone was asleep. Laura and Mary were allowed to use Ma's thimble to make pretty patterns of circles on the frost. In the mornings, Laura and Mary helped Ma wash the dishes and make the beds. After this was done, Ma began the work that belonged to that day. Each day had its own proper work. Ma would say, wash on Monday, iron on Tuesday, mend on Wednesday, churn on Thursday, clean on Friday, bake on Saturday, and rest on Sunday. Laura liked the churning and baking days best of all. Ma had to churn the cream for a long time until it turned into butter. Mary could sometimes churn while Ma rested, but Laura was too little. On Saturdays, when Mom made the bread, Laura and Mary each had a little piece of dough to make into a little loaf. Ma even gave them a little bit of cookie dough to make little cookies. After the day's work was done, Ma would sometimes cut out paper dolls for Laura and Mary. She drew their faces on with a pencil and cut dresses and hats and ribbons out of colored paper so that Mary and Laura could dress their dolls beautifully. But the best time of all was at night when Pa came home. He would throw off his fur cap and coat and mittens and call, "Where's my little half pint of sweet cider half drunk up?" That was Laura because she was so small. Sometimes Pa would take down his fiddle and sing. Pa would keep time with his foot. Laura and Mary would clap their hands to the music when he sang. Yankee Doodle went to town, he wore his striped trousers. He swore he couldn't see the town, there was so many houses. Other times, Pa would tell stories. When Laura and Mary begged him for a story, he would take them on his knee and tickle their faces with his long whiskers until they laughed out loud. His eyes were blue and merry. Outside, it was cold and snowy, but the little log cabin was snug and cozy. Pa, Ma, Laura, Mary, and baby Carrie were comfortable and happy in their little house in the big woods. There's one more picture of their little house. Here are some questions to think about as you compare and contrast your life with Laura and Mary's from the story. You may have noticed how small the log cabin is. This miniature log cabin has 2 rooms, an upstairs and a downstairs, but there's certainly not enough room for everyone to have their own bedroom. It would be pretty hard to find some alone time in a cabin like this, especially in the dead of winter when it might be so cold you couldn't even leave the house. How is that different than your home? The Ingalls have to plan ahead so they will have plenty to eat over the winter. They must hunt and harvest, prepare and store their own seasonal foods. How is that different than today when we can go to a grocery store or a restaurant and have whatever we want, whenever we want? Do you do chores at home? Are they anything like the chores that Laura and Mary have to do? I hope you enjoyed this book. Thank you for sharing some time with us, and we hope to see you soon.